What's up, our fellow movie and TV show fanatics? This is ScreenLab, and if you're a Christopher Nolan fan, you are in for a treat. Make sure to watch until that final scene we'll be sharing, as it comes from one of the most influential and mind-bending movies ever made in cinematic history.
I give you my word.
So, without further ado, here are the 8 iconic Christopher Nolan scenes that made us shocked.
So far.
Number 1. Batman interrogating the Joker. The Dark Knight, 2008.
Good cop, bad cop routine?
Not exactly.
The film that has changed the Batman franchise forever and paved the way for the rise of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as the DC Extended Universe. The Dark Knight is arguably one of the greatest movies of all time.
And you didn't disappoint.
Nominated for 8 Oscars and winning 2, including a posthumous win for Heath Ledger's Joker. Christopher Nolan's sequel to Batman Begins brings both the action and the drama.
I see you hostile!
The interrogation scene, which occurs midway through the film, follows Batman, played by Christian Bale, confronting the psychopath Joker inside an interrogation room.
Look at you go!
In the scene, Joker continually provokes the Caped Crusader, also saying that Batman completes him.
You will complete me.
Nolan creates a memorable sequence that pits and also contrasts Batman's peace and order to Joker's chaos and lawlessness.
The only sensible way to live in this world is without rules.
The scene ends with Joker creating a diversion that allows his henchmen to kidnap 2 of Batman's allies, including his former girlfriend, Rachel Dawes, forcing him to choose which of the 2 will be saved.
It's alright, listen.
Only 1 hostage was saved, leaving Batman in an emotional turmoil, jump-starting the film's climax that left audiences at the edge of their seats.
Things were always going to get worse before they got better.
Number 2. The Torpedo scene, Dunkirk, 2017.
Torpedo!
Considered a visionary director because of the complexity of his movies, Nolan has indeed carved his place as one of Hollywood's greatest filmmakers. His craftsmanship is again seen in the Oscar-nominated war epic, Dunkirk. It was well received, but it also had one of the most disorienting scenes in all of Nolan's films. Set in the height of World War II, Allied troops are stuck on the beaches of Dunkirk as German troops advance towards France.
And keep an eye on that gauge, even when it gets lively.
In one scene, around 100 Allied troops are treated and given food inside a Navy destroyer when a torpedo suddenly strikes the ship. The screen turns to pitch black, but sounds can be heard of soldiers trying to swim desperately, trying to find a way out. In an interview, Nolan described the scene as absolute fear. From enjoying a meal to drowning a few seconds later, this scene has left many viewers in a claustrophobic state. And to think this was a regular occurrence during the Second World War that left thousands of soldiers dead, this makes the scene much more disturbing and heartbreaking. Number 3. Fog Chase, Insomnia, 2002. Before the big summer blockbusters, Nolan was already finding success in Hollywood. One of his earlier films, Insomnia, starring 2 veteran Oscar-winning actors, Al Pacino and Robin Williams, is a rarely talked about sleeper. Psychological thrillers were the core of Nolan's works in his early days, and this film showed his capability in the genre.
You certainly did your homework, Detective.
With a great script and 2 legendary actors on board, the success of Insomnia became the launching pad for Nolan's eventual career.
She saw the dress.
What us?
We're in the same boat.
Where'd you get us?
The film revolves around Will Dormer, played by Pacino, a tired and weary detective trying to hunt down Walter Finch, played by Williams, a suspect in the killing of a teenager in rural Alaska. What happens midway not only turns sour for Dormer, but also leaves audiences in despair. Known for creating intense build-ups in his movies, Nolan does the same here. Dormer and his partner, Detective Hap Eckhart, played by Martin Donovan, find a lead and are on their way to finally catch the suspect. As Dormer maneuvers around the forest, thick fog poses a problem for the detective. As Dormer sees a silhouette amidst the fog, he pulls the trigger and hits the silhouette. Unfortunately, as Dormer checks the body, he appears to have shot and killed his partner. Number 4. Family Videos, Interstellar, 2014.
Hey, Dad. You son of
Christopher Nolan has not been shy about his love for 2001: A Space Odyssey, a film he described as pure cinema.
What are you talking about?
Being a fan of 2001 and the first Star Wars films, Nolan undoubtedly enjoys science fiction. He finally had his opportunity with Interstellar, a space drama starring Matthew McConaughey, Jessica Chastain, Anne Hathaway, and Matt Damon.
You have literally raised me from the dead.
Despite its flaws, Interstellar was still flocked by moviegoers and is currently Nolan's fourth highest grossing film. Christopher Nolan and space are two things that are just meant to be for each other.
We had no choice.
McConaughey's character, Joseph Cooper, is launched into space together with 3 scientists and 2 robots. Their quest? Finding a new home for mankind via a wormhole as natural phenomena causes Earth's crop supply to significantly decrease.
You sent probes into that?
The film doesn't fail in delivering a visual spectacle, as Cooper's team drift across space and even manage to explore different planets. As Nolan goes hard on visual effects, he also goes hard on tugging at our heartstrings. Due to a compromised departure from Miller's planet, time is severely dilated, and Cooper and co. get stuck in the said planet for around 3 hours, or 23 years, equivalent to Earth's timeline.
Time is relative. Okay.
When Cooper and Dr. Amelia Brand, played by Anne Hathaway, finally get out, Cooper is able to watch a video transmission that was worth over 23 years of memories back home. He breaks down in tears as his children have all grown up, but also receives news that his grandson has died. His daughter still hates him for leaving.
Car. She crashed it.
With the film revolving around the notion that sacrifices need to be done for the greater good, even if you lose your loved ones in the process.
This might be a real good time for you to come back.
Number 5. Plane Crash: The Dark Knight Rises, 2012.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Nolan capped off his Batman trilogy with The Dark Knight Rises. Although it didn't reach the levels of the previous film, which was very difficult to top in the first place, fans still enjoyed it nonetheless. Just like its predecessors, The Dark Knight Rises was also filled with memorable set pieces.
I'm still a believer in the Batman.
The opening act alone was probably one of the best introductions of a villain in any film, and also highlighted Nolan's use of practical effects. The scene starts with Bane, played by Tom Hardy, being captured and transported to a CIA plane. It was a planned capture all along, as Bane's men hijack the said plane and extract the masked antagonist. The sequence occurs mid-air, with Hardy's character confidently taking full control of an aircraft that is being flipped vertically. Unlike the dumbed-down Bane in the 1997 flop Batman and Robin, Nolan's version is both a physically imposing specimen and a brilliant field commander.
That comes later.
Number 6. The ending scene, MEMENTO, 2000.
Wander around, you playing detective?
Aside from Insomnia, Christopher Nolan also had another sleeper hit in his early directing days, MEMENTO. Also in the realm of mystery and psychological dramas, MEMENTO is a unique film that showcased Nolan's talents in creating thought-provoking films, something that he would be known for up to this day. His style of filmmaking has become so popular in that it resulted in other movies being called Nolan-esque, a word that depicts films having complex stories with non-linear formats. MEMENTO follows Leonard Shelby, played by the magnificent Guy Pearce, an insurance investigator who goes on a hunt to find his wife's killer. The only problem is that Leonard, or Lenny, has anterograde amnesia, which means he suffers from short-term memory loss, so he uses notes, tattoos, and Polaroids, clues to help him track the killer.
Look, memory can change the shape of a room, it can change the color of a car.
The ending scene reveals that Lenny is convinced that his acquaintance, Teddy, played by Joe Pantoliano, had killed his wife. The twist? The killer is actually Lenny, who killed his own wife after an insulin overdose. With the film also happening backwards, the ending entails that Lenny decides to frame Teddy and tracks him down using his tattoos and Polaroids, eventually killing him at the start of the movie.
Well, you lie to yourself to be happy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Number 7. I'm Batman. Batman Begins, 2005.
I'm Batman.
After Joel Schumacher's much-maligned Batman and Robin, the franchise was in a hiatus, but it made a triumphant return 8 years later with Batman Begins. Despite the initial concern of Nolan being at the helm, the success he found with both Insomnia and MEMENTO continued to roll over with this film. After a great response upon its release, a new era truly began for Batman, Warner Brothers Pictures, and Nolan himself.
There are those of us who care about what you do with your future.
This particular scene sees Bruce Wayne don the complete and fully functional Batsuit for the first time. He faces off with mob boss Carmine Falcone and his crew, picking them off one by one. With Falcone hiding in his limo, he murmurs, "What the hell are you?" Batman immediately pulls him from the car and declares, "I'm Batman," then knocks Falcone out with a headbutt. A memorable scene didn't only set the tone for the entire Dark Knight trilogy, but also spanned countless "I'm Batman" memes throughout the years.
But what I do, it defines me.
And lastly, number 8, Zero Gravity Hallway Fight, Inception 2010. If The Dark Knight placed Christopher Nolan on the map, Inception made him a legend. Despite having an impressive portfolio, Inception continues to be one of Nolan's most successful films in terms of critical acclaim and box office sales.
Mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
The film won the 2011 Academy Award for Visual Effects and also earned an original screenplay nomination for Nolan.
They feel real while we're in them, right?
Inception isn't your ordinary heist film. Instead of stealing money, the protagonists are off to steal memories.
This isn't your typical corporate espionage.
To do that, they have to do an inception, planting an idea in another individual's subconscious through a dream. Sounds crazy? Most definitely. And did that kind of crazy live up to the hype? Oh yes indeed.
Never recreate places from your memory, always imagine new places.
At its release, filmgoers were both left with confusion and excitement as the credits rolled. The movie has even managed to inject itself into pop culture, and debates of what happens in the entirety of the film, including the ending, remains up to this day. Of all the brilliant scenes in the film that will make your mind work, the zero-gravity hallway fight has to be the best. As the heist crew goes deeper into each level of subconsciousness, they wake up in a hotel where Arthur, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, does his work. Arthur fends off enemies in the hotel hallway while floating in zero gravity. With the floating mainly due to the falling van in the first level of the dream, the sequence brings back memories of the Matrix, but just as dazzling. Nolan's use of practical effects, as well as fight choreography and camera work, all feels natural and adds to the film's atmosphere of bending reality through lucid dreaming. There you have it. What were the particular scenes from Nolan's hit list that blew you away? Leave your fond or even traumatic memories in the comment section below. You should also get excited as he has another movie entitled Tenet, starring John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki, Michael Caine, and Kenneth Branagh. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you had fun watching this video. And if you are a big fan of Nolan and how he gives you a mental workout in his movies, we'll see you guys soon.
That part is a little dramatic.